All right, Dr. Von Plitt here again for another live stream where I'm answering some of your comments and questions from other videos on my channel. Thank you all for your comments and your questions on my videos. I do really appreciate hearing from you all, and it is wonderful to get the engagement, get the feedback on videos, to know that you guys are enjoying it. So that's wonderful. Thank you. The first thing I want to mention today is Roger Stevens left not just a comment on one of my silk grilling videos, but also a super thanks. And for those of you who are not familiar with super thanks, it's basically a way that you can leave a monetary thank you on one of my videos. And I really appreciate that. That's very helpful. So thank you, Roger Stevens. And yes, thank you to all of you who have left super thanks in the past. I really appreciate it. Next comment is on another silk grilling video from Brian Ross. He basically just says, thank you for sharing these videos with us. You are very welcome. I really enjoy sharing this information with you all. And I think Taiji and Qigong are things that have made such a difference in my life. And I would love for them to make a difference in other people's lives. And I know that a lot of people don't have instructors in their areas. So putting these videos up helps me spread the joy of these arts to people who otherwise couldn't get their hands on them. So it is my pleasure to share these with you. Let's see. So the other comment I wanted to respond to was another one from Davey J. Again, I appreciate your comments, Davey J. Thank you for your comments and your insights. One of the things that he said is about standing post Qigong, and that's one of the things in the title for this video and something that I want to mention. He said that in another way of doing standing post Qigong is not just to do the basic kind of embracing a tree stance or the other kind of more standard postures that can be done in standing post Qigong, but he was bringing up the practice of using different postures from a form that you have learned, kind of regardless of the style that you're doing. And you take those postures and use them for standing post Qigong. And this is it's a very powerful practice. And I've actually, this is another thing on my to-do list that someday will be done down the road, is to follow along standing post Qigong videos based on forms. And this is something that we did the first time I was in China. It was something that we did in the master was teaching Bajiquan classes. And I was learning some Bajiquan from him. And he would do this with the basic form. We would start with the form. We would get in our first stance and we would stand there and stand there and stand there and stand there. And we would have one of the elder brothers of the group, so one of the students that has been training longer, leading the group. And they would decide how long you were standing in one stance. And then they would, let everyone know it's time to move to the next stance. So you do the form up to the next stance, and then you stop there and you hold it and you hold it and you hold it. And at first I hated it. Like it was not exciting. It was like, there was nothing I really enjoyed about it. I'll just say that. But it's very profound after you've done that. For a while, you start to completely change how you do forms, how your body structure moves, and how you generate power, and how you hold structures through the form, and when you're actually applying techniques, whether that's on a bag or in partner practice. So it's incredibly powerful, and it is something that should be done in Tai Chi. But as David J points out, it's basically never taught. I think I ran my students through practice like that maybe once when I was teaching classes in person, because I was still focused on just the basic standing post Qigong. And the reason I was focused on that is because, like, one of the reasons that's such a powerful exercise is because it gets rid of all the other things that can be distracting you from just getting that internal work, that internal structure, that frame down that can be applied to all those other things. So if you don't have that down, if you don't have just that internal structure down, then you can get distracted by the different movements of a form. And even though it's useful, I think it's good to have the foundation of just the basic standing post Qigong first. I don't know, maybe it would be good to incorporate the form standing post sooner, because that would help you connect the two a little bit more easily. And yeah, I think if I was teaching in person again, I would probably start incorporating that sooner. But it's a super powerful practice, and hopefully I'll have a series, before the end of time up on this YouTube channel that will give you something that you can follow along with for that type of exercise. but right now I don't. And so if you have a form that you're practicing, something that you can do, if it's a longer form, it's going to be difficult to do this because it can take a lot of time. But if you do something like the 10 form, that's a great form for doing this because, there's 10 postures done on each side. So like kind of 20 postures. And you are basically just doing it once, doing it on the other side. So when you do it the one time, so you do your brush knee and push, you just stand there with brush knee and push, and you find your structure, you find your alignment, and you get that internal component there that you would have if you were doing like standing post Qigong. And then after you've held it for so many breaths or for such a certain amount of time, whatever, then you go on to the brush knee and push on the other side. And you basically just do that through the whole form. And that's a perfect form because it's a small form and you can do that in a reasonable amount of time. So yeah, great point, Davy J. Great exercise. If you're out there doing standing post Qigong and you know martial arts forms, you can turn your form into a variety of standing post Qigong exercises. And it's a great exercise. So I think I've said that enough times now, and I will move on. The next thing I wanted to point out was someone called, or their username is runner08. They left a really great comment on one of my videos. I think it was the last live stream I did. Yeah. And I wanted to share this with you guys because this was just really cool to hear. They said that, let me make this so I can actually see the comment here. So they said that their 2022 New Year's resolution was to learn the Taiji 24 form, and they had no previous experience. And they watched my 24 form series, did 10 to 15 minutes every morning. And let's see, good breakdown. They're happy about that. That's great. And in July of 2022, they finished the whole form and they're continuing to practice it. And they were just feeling good about that. And I just want to say congratulations. Like, that's fantastic. It's great. Like, it's a great feeling when you complete a form like that. And it's just really exciting. I love hearing when students or people out there use my videos for something like that. They have a goal and they say, okay, I'm just going to take a certain amount of time each day. I'm going to tune in, watch these videos, practice, and learn this form. And, it's a life-changing art. So congratulations. That's really exciting. Thank you so much for sharing that story. Let's see. And then there was a comment a while back I came across, and I wanted to bring that one back up. So let me see if I can find it again. Those of you that are watching, if you have any questions currently, any comments, feel free to drop them in the chat. If you're a Taiji practitioner, I'd love to hear what style it is that you practice and how long you've been practicing it. That would be great to know. Let's see. Let me see. I'm just going back looking for this comment, so bear with me. Don't remember it being too far back. This one. Okay, there it is. So this comment was left by a friend of nature on one of my Qigong basic videos, video number 4. And the comment, let me see if I can just briefly summarize it. They're basically saying that they are practicing standing post Qigong, 20 to 40 minutes. Now they're up to an hour. That's great. 10 to 15 minutes per posture. So they're doing based on Lam Chun's book. It looks like, okay, so there is a book about standing post Qigong that is, I've read it. I've heard a lot of really good comments. A lot of people bring it up in the comment sections. It's a great, like, basic Qigong book, and especially for standing post. And so this person's question is basically if they, like, what's more beneficial, to stay in one posture longer or doing the whole series with less time in each posture. So with the book that he's talking, or this person's talking about, I actually don't know, just Friends of Nature. What they're talking about, basically there's a set of standing post Qigong exercises that you start with the basic embracing the tree, if I remember correctly, or this basic Zhuang stance. And then there's a couple other postures that you can go through and hold it for a certain amount of time at each posture. And so this person's question is it better to make sure that you do all the postures when you go through this and do them for less time, or to spend more time on maybe one posture? What's more beneficial? And this is something where you can get a lot of different opinions on something like this. And it kind of depends on who your teacher is, who your instructor is. This is one of those things where, to me, the more effective thing to do is the thing that you will do, because it doesn't matter which one technically will like produce more more benefits if you do it, if you're not going to do it. So I would say, if you are more likely to practice every day if you only practice one posture for a little bit longer instead of trying to do all the postures, then do that. I would say if you are more likely to practice every day if you're doing all the postures as opposed to just one posture for a longer amount of time, then do that. The idea with starting with a basic posture, something that's simpler, and then building to the more complex ones, is that typically the more basic postures build a much more robust foundation on which to expand with the other postures. And so if you cut your training time a little too short with the basic posture that is in a particular set, so the one that he's referring to has a specific sequence that it follows. I have a series up for Pangen Qigong, which has a specific sequence of postures. And so the idea is if you start with the basic one, then you can build from there into more advanced postures. So what's more beneficial? The thing that you'll do. Of the two things, honestly, I think when you go back to the basics in anything, you're going to be building a good foundation. You're going to be doing yourself a favor. So if you're stuck between doing a bunch of things and doing the basics, do the basics. If you have the time to do more things, then you can do more things. But honestly, if you're going to train something consistently and put a lot of effort into something, the basics are the thing to do that. And your most basic posture is probably going to be your best bet there. But again, like I said, if you won't stick to it, if all you're doing is the basic posture, then take a little less time and do more postures, because doing something is better than doing nothing. So I wanted to comment on that. From Friend of Nature. And I apologize for the amount of time it took me to get back to you. That comment was left like 9 months ago. So there you go. Let's see. And then there was another comment from Nathan Cohen's, a supporting member for the channel. Again, thank you so much for being a supporting member for this channel. I appreciate all of my supporting members. You are all awesome. Thank you so much. And they say, I'm interested in hearing more about Taiji. It's a soft martial art. I've heard about this before. So in the last video I did, the last live stream, I mentioned that excuse me, I mentioned that I might go into a little bit of a discussion about whether Taiji is actually a soft martial art or not. And excuse me, just a second. All right, I'm back. Seems Kermit has come to join us for this video. Yeah, so I think what I'm going to do is do a more in-depth video on this and post it at some point, but I do want to discuss it a little bit here, maybe give a little bit of a preview for this. And I think that this is something that's very important for people who practice Taiji to understand, is that Taiji is really not a soft martial art. It has elements of softness, but it is a balanced martial art. So for each component of softness, there's a component of hardness with it. And if you have only softness, then you don't have the structure to maintain that softness. And if you have only hardness, then you can easily be overcome because you're so rigid in your structure that any effect on any part of your structure is going to affect the rest in a negative way. So you have to have both of those things. Excuse me again. So yeah, Tai Chi, what I'll say right now, is not a soft martial art. And this is something that's discussed in the classics and sayings in Tai Chi training, such as appears soft on the outside, but's hard on the inside, or as if there is cotton wrapped around steel. So the inside is like steel. The outside is soft like cotton. So on the outside, you appear soft, you appear relaxed. and you are like relaxed, but relaxed in the way we've talked about in previous videos. But on the inside, you have strength. You have that internal strength, that hardness that supports the softness. Excuse me. I'm gonna mute my mic. And I'm gonna try to get rid of Kermit real fast. I'll be right back. All right. I think he's gone. I think we're done with Kermit. I think we can carry on. Um, I had a lot of talking today with some patients, and so I uh, probably should have been hydrating more, and I feel like that's catching up to me right now. So my apologies for the gruff voice this evening. So there's also concepts of Rho and Gong gene in Taiji. The Rho gene is the softness, the Gong gene is the hardness. And again, these things have to be balanced. This is getting annoying. I might have to run away and get some water here, guys. I apologize. But yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. So we're gonna take a quick break. I'm gonna mute the mic. You're gonna see me run away for a second, and I will be right back after I've had a little bit of water. So hang tight. All right. Thank you. Oh, here we go again. All right. Thank you all for hanging out. Thank you for not running away as I ran away to get some water. I have seen other people doing live streams and they have had beverages with them. I understand why now. All right. So I think I've covered pretty much what I want to say about Taiji not being a soft martial art, about it being a balanced martial art. So yeah, I think I might leave that there. All right. If there are any questions from people who are watching, please feel free to drop those in the comments. Otherwise, I'm going to check comments in other videos real quick. And if there's nothing there, I'm probably going to wrap this up so we can all get on with our evenings. And I can go try to evict Kermit once and for all. All right. Great. So I'm not seeing any more comments. I think that kind of wraps up what I was wanting to say. As I said before about the softness not being the only only aspect of Tai Chi. I think the reason that it seems like Tai Chi is a soft martial art, why the softness is emphasized so much, is because the softness in Tai Chi is very specific, and it requires a certain amount of skill to maintain the softness that's required. And that softness, again, it's not a matter of being relaxed, and that means like relaxed as in limp. It's a softness that has to do with being relaxed as in not using excessive muscular strength, using smart muscular strength when you're moving your body, when you're interacting with forces either of gravity or another opponent pushing against you or something like that. So because it takes so much work to try to fine tune your skills to be soft like that, there is a huge emphasis, especially at the beginning of practicing Tai Chi, at the very beginning, of relaxing, of being soft, of like bringing that outside tension down. And sometimes if someone doesn't get past that point in their training and then they go on to train on their own or they go on to teach or something like that, then what happens is they haven't completed enough of their training to understand the other side of taiji, which is the hard side, or to develop that side. And so when that happens, the only thing that they know to emphasize is the softness and the relaxation. And that can translate into the idea that taiji is a soft martial art and that there's not hardness in it and that there's not powerful movements in it and that everything is um, just so relaxed that it's like limp kind of a thing. And so I'm gonna grab some more water here. When you train longer, when you've spent time developing the softness and the relaxation that you need to counteract the tension that we tend to carry without knowing it, and the excessive muscular strength and uncoordinated muscular strength that we use when we do movements and try to apply techniques in taiji, then basically you go from uh, balance of what tai chi should be into just softness. And so, yeah, we basically just need to continue training so that we get that softness, we get that relaxation, we get that internal component of the tai chi on the soft side, and then we can, part of the training is developing that internal strength, and that's something that will kind of sneak up on you as you do the training. So as you continue to do standing post qigong, as you continue to focus on making sure you have that good structure, that good frame, that internal hardness will start to develop through time, through training, and it's not something that you really have to try to develop. It comes through the training. So the emphasis is often put on the softness because that's what you need to focus on and try to develop. And the hardness comes after you've kind of let go of that less intelligent hardness, that less intelligent muscular use, that excessive force that we're also used to using in physical movement. And once you can let go of that, then you can develop that internal strength. So yeah. So I thought I was done talking about Tai Chi as not a completely soft martial art, but I guess I wasn't. So there's some more thoughts for you. With that, I think I am going to wrap it up. Thank you all for tuning in. Please do leave some comments if you have questions on anything that I was talking about here. If you'd like to hear more about anything that I discussed today, leave comments there or about that as well. And also, if this continues to be a useful medium for me to respond to your comments and questions, do let me know. Um, and if not, then I can move on to other things. So thank you all for tuning in. I wish you all the best. Thank you for your excitement, your interest in Tai Chi and Qigong, and have a wonderful evening.